everyone, my name is Nancy from teachingwithnancy.com, and today I have my African grade with me, Nina, and she's here to help me introduce you to my African Safari unit. So keep watching as I show you how you can use these activities in your classroom with your students.
I'm going to take you through this unit and show you each activity so you can see exactly what it includes and how it can be used in your classroom. This is the table of contents page. As you can see, it's a very large file. There's 168 pages. So what I've done is created hyperlinks to the different activities so that you can get from one activity to the next fairly easily. And what you do is just click on the African mask and it will take you back to the table of contents. So let's look at the first activity. The first activity is a short and long vowel activity, and there are many ways to use this, so let me just explain them to you very quickly. There are 5 cards for each vowel, 5 for each short vowel, and 5 for each long vowel. And these are all the words. And you can use them to sort onto these mats. This is the short vowel word mat, and this is the long vowel word mat. But if you just want to work with one vowel at a time, I've created these answer recording sheets. And this one's just for the A vowel words, for the short ones and the long ones. And you give them all the cards, or you choose how many you want to give them and have them sort them out and write the answers. And then there's this QR code here that they can scan to check their work. And then they can color in a leaf for everyone they answered correctly. And I made one for the A vowel, E, I, O, and U. And then if you're only working with short vowels, you can use this answer recording sheet. And you just give them, you can either give them all of the cards or just the short vowel cards. That's up to you. You can differentiate it to fit the needs of your students. And then they can scan the QR code and it'll show them all the answers. And this is the same thing, but for long vowels. And when they scan the QR code, these are the answer recording sheets. This is what they'll see on the screen. The next activity in this unit is wild animal syllables. And this is what the cards look like. You're going to print these out, and there are 16 of them. You'll print them out and you'll cut them apart so that they're separate cards. And then students have to look at the animal, the African animal. And for example, this one is tiger. And then it has 2 syllables, so they'll sort them out here, whether it has 1, 2, or 3 syllables. And this is what the answer recording sheet looks like. And this is what it'll look like after they complete it and they scan it. So for example, the first one was tiger. It had 2 syllables, so they will color in 2 ostrich eggs. So they color in 1 egg for every syllable in the word. And then when they're finished, they scan the QR code, check their work, and then they can color in an ostrich egg for every answer they got correct. A lot of students struggle with rhyming. So there's actually 2 sets of roaring rhymes. And what I've done is there's a brown set, and you can tell because the background behind the number is brown. And there's also a green set. So there's 2 different ones. And there are 10 rhyming cards. So what you'll do is you print them out, and these are actually 2 cards. So what they'll look like when you print them out is they'll look like this. And then students look at the picture that the lion is holding on the sign. So like this one's carrot, and then they will say the 3 pictures. So they have to decide out of a field of 3 which one of these 3 rhymes with carrot. And in this case, it would be parrot. And then you can either have them clip a clothespin at the bottom or use a dry erase marker to circle it. You can decide how you want them to indicate the answer. And then they will complete the answer recording sheet. So for this one, the answer is parrot. So they would mark the hippo on the answer recording sheet. And let me take you to the answer recording sheets so you can see what they look like. They look like this. And then I specify here, this is for the green set, and this was for the brown set. And when they're done answering all 10, they scan the QR code and it will take them to a page that looks like this. and then they can color in a line for every answer they got correct. The next activity is working with contractions, and there are 2 sets of 10. So there's 2 activities that are the same that have to do with contractions, and you can tell that the sets apart because these have an elephant and the second set has an African cat. So what students will do is, well, you'll print these out first, and there's 4 cards here, and this one says cannot, and then they have to figure out which one of these is the contraction, and then they'll write it on their answer recording sheet and scan the QR code, and then the answer recording sheets match the card. So this is the one with the elephant, and this is the one with the African cat. And again, they can check their work when they're done by scanning the QR code. The next activity is compound words, and there are 12 different compound words for students to work with. This is what the cards will look like. There's 3, so you will print this out and you will cut it apart, but you will leave these 2 boxes attached. And then you will give them all the words, and these you will cut out, and then they have to find the words, and it will look like this. Let me show you. So for example, this one will be rattlesnake, and they'd have to put them in order. And you can add Velcro to the back of these if you want to. And then they will write the answers on the answer recording sheet. And again, it has the feature where they can scan the QR code and check their work, and then they can color in a bunch of bananas for each one they got correct. And down here I just put a couple more words for them to practice. And this is what the answer recording sheet will look like once they scan it. The next activity is a math activity with 10 frames with sums up to 10. You can use it in different ways. Let me just take you through a couple of the ways you can use it. There's cards like this, and the dots are different colors. So they have to, you can just do it a matching. Okay, so they will have to match these cards to the ones that have the actual problem written out. So for example, this one's 2 plus 2 equals 4, so they have to find the one that has 2 brown dots, 2 green dots, and then it equals to 4. And you can do a whole group activity with it, and I wrote some examples here of ways you can use it. And this is what the answer recording sheet looks like. So for number 1, they're all numbered. There's 18 of them for them to practice their 10 frames, their math facts using 10 frames. And then here's the answer recording sheet with the QR code so they can check their work. I've included 2 counting books with numbers 1 to 10. There's 2 levels. There's a kindergarten level, and there's also a 1st grade level. I'm going to show you the kindergarten level first, and it tells you here how they will complete it. They will trace the word. They'll use tally marks to depict the number. They will complete a 10 frame. They will draw a number set, trace the number, and then look for the number. And there's 1 through 10. And then for the 1st grade level, it's a little bit different, but not too much. It's just a little bit harder. Here, they don't have the word to trace. They actually have to write the word, spell it out by memory. Tally marks again, 10 frames, number sets. But here, they have to write an addition sentence that will equal 1 and a subtraction sentence that will equal 1. So here's an example of the number 3 page. And then they have to find it on the number line. And these are all the pages it takes you through 1 through 10. The next activity is working with data. And I have provided 3 sets of data for students to work with. So each page, it will tell you Safari data number 1, and then the answer recording sheet will tell you that it's number 1, because they're not going to be the same. And then students will, you'll print these out and make multiple copies of these and have students answer all of these questions using this data right here. Then when they're done, they can scan the QR code and it will show them all the answers. And so when they scan the QR code, this is what they're going to see. They're going to see all the answers. And it's working with completing a graph, also using tally marks, and it has how many are there in all, most, least, and sums, and so it has a lot of good beginning math. The next few activities all have to do with some kind of skip counting. There's skip counting by 2s, by 5s, and by 10s. There are cards like this. There's 3 sets of skip counting by 2, and there's 3 sets of skip counting by 5, and then there's 3 sets of cards skip counting by 10. So you just use what you're working on with your students. If you're just, you may not use all the 10s or the 5s. The answer recording sheets look like this. This is the one, and it tells you right here that this is the one that is skip counting by 2s, by 5s, and by 10s. And there's a QR code so they can scan to check to make sure they got it right. So you will cut all these out, and each set has the same animal on it. So right here, there's 6 cards per set. So these are skip counting by 5, and then you will give them all the cards all mixed up, and they have to put them in the right skip counting order, and then record it on the answer recording sheet. In addition to that, there's also this skip counting activity here, and for this you're going to print these out, and then they have to create their own skip counting pattern and write it here in these little boxes, and then they will color all the African animals, and then they cut these 6 cards apart, and they will share it with a friend, and then their friend has to put the cards in, figure out what the skip counting pattern is, and put the cards in order. And there's different ones. Then this one right here, this is like a little puzzle that's skip counting, and I made it so that you as a teacher can write the numbers down here, so you can create any pattern that you want. And then I made it so that you can do it with 6, or you can do it with 8. So you can differentiate it. I've also included a 100 chart so that you can print it out and you can provide it for those students that need the extra visual support. This activity also comes with these black and white puzzles, and this is for students to create their own. So they can write the skip counting pattern at the bottom, color the picture, cut these strips apart, write their name on the back of each strip, and then they can have a friend put the skip counting pattern together to build the puzzle. And there are 6 and 8 strips, and these are the different puzzles. This next activity is called Ostrich Race, and it is a board game. And this is what it will look like when you put it all together. And it's an addition and subtraction fact game, and it has different combinations of addition and subtraction. And the way it will work is you print all these cards out, and they will put them on the game board here. And it has the instructions, but I'll just tell you quickly. What will happen is that you will have students, one student will choose a card and will read it to their opponent, and the opponent has to solve this in their head and say the answer, and so the answer is here. And then if they get it correctly, then they move that many spaces on the game board. Now some of them have the answer that is 0, and if they get an answer that is 0, then they don't move any spaces. And the person who is the winner is the one that gets to the ostrich egg first, to the nest. This is the last activity in this pack. It's called Not in the Fact Family. This is a little bit of higher order thinking for them. It has facts. Okay, the cards will look like this. This is what they look like. You will cut them out so that all 4 numbers are on the side, so they'll look like this. And then students have to look at the 4 numbers and decide which one is not part of the fact family. And for example, here you have 5, 2, 3, and 4. So 2, 5, and 3 are all in the same fact family, but 4 is not. So that would be the one that's not in the fact family. And so, for example, here's the answer for that one for number 2. And then they'll write out the 2 addition and the 2 subtraction facts that are part of that family. And then the answer recording sheets match because there's 4 sets of these. Like this one has the little elephant, so the elephant is on the answer recording sheet. And there's also a giraffe set, a tiger set, and a camel set. And it comes with the QR code on the answer recording sheet so that they can check their answers when they're finished. and then they can color in a drum for a correct answer. That completes all of the activities in this African Safari unit. I hope that this preview was helpful to you and helping you determine whether these activities are at the right skill level to meet the needs of your students. Thanks for watching.